Their battle lasted an entire day, and ultimately, Madara was narrowly defeated by Hashirama. After his defeat, when Tobirama attempted to kill Madara, Hashirama sternly intervened. He had always regarded Madara as a friend, and this had never changed. He hoped that the two clans could reconcile. Madara's expression turned lifeless as he fixated on the brothers he had lost to the Senju clan. The pain etched deeply in his heart. He then made a grim proposition. Hashirama could either kill his own brother or take his own life. In response, Hashirama smiled gently, removed his armor with grace, entrusted everything to Tobirama, and prepared to take his own life with a kunai. Of course, none of us truly believed he would go through with it. But just as Madara watched, tears in his eyes, at the moment Hashirama moved to end his life, Madara swiftly reached out and stopped him. After all, Madara still deeply loved Hashirama. Hashirama's resolve moved Madara, who finally compromised and agreed to peace. Thus, the Senju and Uchiha clans joined forces to establish the Hidden Leaf Village, allying with the Land of Fire to create a peaceful nation. When the two stood once again on the cliffs where they had often met in the past, gazing at the village rising from the ground, their childhood dream had finally come true. At that moment, Hashirama told Madara that he hoped Madara could become the Hokage of the village. He explained that as the village expanded, other clans would gradually join them, making it necessary to give the village a proper name. Looking at everything before him through the leaves of a tree, Madara said, "Let's call it the Hidden Leaf Village." Then, Tobirama found them and informed them that the daimyo of the Land of Fire was on his way. When he heard that Hashirama had designated Madara as a candidate for Hokage, Tobirama was furious. Everyone believed it was Hashirama who had founded the village and brought peace, while the Uchiha clan was seen as inherently evil. Unfortunately, Madara overheard these words from outside the door. As a result, Hashirama became the first Hokage, and feeling betrayed, Madara wanted to gather his clan to leave, but he faced opposition from his clan members. After looking at the Uchiha clan's generations-old stone tablet, Madara decided to abandon Hashirama and pursue his true dream. Konoha's policies were imitated by other countries, leading them to establish their own villages. However, Madara returned with the Nine Tails, now significantly stronger. Initially, Hashirama thought Madara only wanted to fight and summoned wooden clones, catching the tailed beast bomb and pushing it back. Later, Madara armored the Nine Tails and used Susanoo. Seeing Madara's creativity, Hashirama strategically retreated, attempting to shift the battlefield to the coast using the quintuple Rashomon. To his surprise, the tailed beast bomb did not fall into the sea, but landed directly on the opposite shore. Seeing this, Hashirama became unusually serious. He questioned why Madara wanted to destroy their dreams, expressing that he didn't want to kill him. Then, he activated Sage Mode and used Sage Art would release true several thousand hands, creating a colossal Buddha statue that even dwarfed the armored Nine Tails. The barrage of tailed beast bombs was completely blocked. Seeing the approaching fist, even Madara was stunned. Hashirama seized the Nine Tails like catching a mouse and used Hokage-style 60-year-old technique, Kakuan entering society with bliss-bringing hands to sever the connection between Madara and the Nine Tails. Poor Nine Tails, the strongest tailed beast, was gently petted and fell asleep. After this, the two engaged in a fierce battle. Madara, wielding the Six-Paths Sage's tools, gained the upper hand. Just as he was feeling confident, a sharp blade pierced his heart from behind. It turned out that Hashirama had exploited Madara's only weakness and stabbed him from behind. Upon hearing the story from the first Hokage, Hashirama, Sasuke finally understood his brother's actions and decided to head to the battlefield to protect Konoha. The Hokage and Sasuke's group stood on the Hokage Rock in Konoha, overlooking the village. The third Hokage asked Orochimaru why he chose to help Sasuke. Orochimaru smiled and explained that despite having assimilated various abilities and attained immortality, he ultimately failed. This realization led him to understand the power of believing in others. This time, he wanted to see how far Sasuke could go on his path. Without further delay, they rushed to the front line. Meanwhile, the Ten Tails had broken free from the Earth-released Sandwich Technique and went berserk, unleashing Tenpankyi Technique, created massive natural disasters centered around it. To protect the allied shinobi forces, Naruto exhausted all his chakra and was severely injured. Kakashi saw an opportunity to use Kamui to kill the Ten Tails, but Obito dragged him into the Kamui dimension, forcing a one-on-one fight. Their battle was a peak moment of action in the later stages of the series. Known for his cold ruthlessness on the battlefield, Kakashi hesitated as his lightning cutter Raikiri was about to strike Obito. He still wanted to persuade Obito to return to the right path. Obito had long known the truth. When Rin was kidnapped by Kirigakure, Kakashi had fought desperately to save her. It turned out to be a ploy by Kirigakure. They intentionally let Rin go, planning for her to return to Konoha and trigger the Three Tails Rampage, destroying the village. Realizing this, Rin chose to die at the hands of the one she loved. She jumped in front of Kakashi's lightning cutter as he attacked an enemy. For Obito, everything was an illusion, and what truly brought him despair was the world itself. Outside the Kamui dimension, dimension, the Ten Tails underwent another transformation, preparing an enormous tailed beast ball for an attack. After some contemplation, Shikamaru devised a plan. He used the mind-body switch technique to connect with Kitsuchi and Killer Bee. He planned for everyone to use Earth Style in conjunction with Killer Bee's attack to change the trajectory of the tailed beast ball. However, he underestimated the Ten Tails' power. The Earth Style barrier was easily crushed by the tailed beast ball. The Eight Tails had no choice but to shield everyone with its body. Suddenly, a special kunai landed on the ground. Minato, who had mastered the Flying Thunder God technique, arrived first. In an instant, he teleported the massive tailed beast ball to the sea. In the Kamui dimension, Kakashi rejected Obito's invitation. He believed that those who didn't value their comrades were worse than trash. He refused to abandon his memories with Obito, even if Obito himself was the one negating them. Just as Minato arrived in time to use the Flying Thunder God technique and teleport the Ten Tails tailed beast bomb to the distant sea, the second Hokage remarked in awe that Minato's teleportation jutsu surpassed his own. Seeing the past Hokage arrive on the battlefield and fight side by side with them, the morale of the allied shinobi forces soared to unprecedented height. Madara, upon seeing Hashirama, excitedly shouted for a fight, but the ever-earnest Hashirama thought it more important to stop the Ten Tails rampage. Minato, with the Kurama sealed inside him, activated the Nine Tails chakra mode, prompting even Kurama to marvel at the man who had split and sealed him. The four Hokage positioned themselves at four corners and combined their efforts to create the four Red Yang formation, a barrier dozens of times stronger than the four Violet Flames formation. Hashirama quickly entered Sage mode and used the Sage Art, Gate of the Great God, to pin down the Ten Tails. At this moment, Sasuke also arrived on the battlefield, and Team 7 was reunited, fighting together after many years. The Ten Tails, attempting to break the barrier with a massive tailed beast bomb, ended up injuring itself. Hashirama opened a small gate in the four Red Yang formation, leading the counterattack. The injured Ten Tails had to split into numerous minions to fight back. Seeing Naruto and Sasuke fighting alongside her, Sakura experienced an unprecedented surge of determination. Everyone fought with all their might. Sakura activated the strength of 100 Seal, while Naruto and Sasuke summoned Yamakichi and Aoda to break through the Ten Tails minions and launch a close-range attack. Their combined Raisin Shuriken and Kagetsuchi successfully hit their target. Meanwhile, Orochimaru encountered the severely injured 5 Kage. Tsunade, having exhausted all her chakra, was on the brink of death, unable to maintain even her youthful appearance. Orochimaru had Karen and Suigetsu help, piecing Tsunade back together and healing her, successfully saving her life. Meanwhile, the battle between Obito and Kakashi continued. They first engaged in a Genjutsu duel, but after reaching a stalemate, they transitioned to a Taijutsu showdown. Scenes from their childhood battles interspersed with the current fight, devoid of flashy techniques or world-shattering moves, just the sparks from kunai flashes and the satisfaction of direct hits. It was truly spectacular. Obito launched a fireball jutsu, which Kakashi blocked with an earth-style wall. The childhood battle came to an abrupt halt as Kakashi made up his mind. His lightning blade pierced through Obito, grasping his chest in pain. Obito admitted his defeat, but declared that victory in the war wouldn't come so easily. He then used Kamui to escape outside. Seeing the near-death Obito, Madara couldn't help but be overjoyed. He quickly had Black Zetsu take control of Obito's body. In fact, Madara had revived Obito in the first place with the intention of using him to collect the tailed beast. Now that Obito was exhausted, Madara naturally wouldn't miss the chance to use him as a sacrifice to perform the Rinne Rebirth Jutsu and resurrect himself. Hashirama, focused on controlling the Ten Tails, couldn't stop him in time. Obito's hair gradually turned white, his life force draining away. The images of Rin, Kakashi, and Minato appeared before him, only to slowly fade away. As Madara casually conversed with Hashirama, a sharp kunai sliced through the air. It was Minato, utilizing the Flying Thunder God mark he had left years ago, instantly teleporting in front of Obito. Blood splattered as the two exchanged surprised glances, but Obito, even while collapsing, managed to smile. Minato was in disbelief that the masked man who had attacked Konoha was actually his own student. In a moment, an immense suction force emanated from Obito, absorbing the Ten Tails. Obito, through sheer willpower, broke free from Madara's control and changed the Rinne Rebirth Jutsu to absorb the Ten Tail. Hashirama attempted to suppress him using the Sage Art, Gate of the Great God, but Obito easily broke free in his Sage of Six Paths form. Even the four Red Yang formation, jointly cast by the four Hokage, was effortlessly destroyed by Obito. Truth-seeking balls formed around Obito, and in an instant, he shredded Hashirama Hashirama's clone and Tobirama's body Hashirama used would release, and Tobirama unleashed his ultimate technique, the mutually multiplying explosive tag. The true motive behind the creation of the impure world reincarnation was to complement this technique, but the explosion of paper bombs was ineffective against Obito. Even the third Hokage's best technique, the Shuriken Shadow Clone Jutsu, was easily dodged by Obito. Then, the third Hokage was decapitated. The Hokage, utilizing their immortal Edo Tensei bodies, analyzed Obito's tactics and abilities. Hashirama, blocked by Madara, didn't directly engage with Obito. At this moment, Obito's body began to swell as the 10 tails inside him became unstable. However, he submerged half of his body into the ground, striking Naruto and Sasuke. Thanks to Minato's help, they narrowly escaped. As the 10 tails within Obito grew more violent, it began to turn on him, overwhelming his consciousness. Nevertheless, Obito's strong will prevailed, allowing him to control the 10 tails and become its perfect Jinchuriki. The black rods formed by Yin-Yang release shattered Minato's kunai with a mere touch. At this point, Obito's power reached its peak. After becoming the perfect 10 tails Jinchuriki, Obito was immune to all ninjutsu and could use the truth-seeking balls, making him incredibly powerful. Faced with such an opponent, Naruto and his comrades were at a loss. At this moment, Gamakichi spat a small amount of saliva at Obito, who, seeing it as a serious threat, used a large number of truth-seeking balls to defend against it. When the saliva touched the truth-seeking balls, it wasn't dissolved. This caught Tobirama's attention, a seasoned warrior, and he quickly noticed this detail. While Obito was talking to Minato, Naruto prepared a sage art, Rasengan. Understanding the plan, Tobirama used the Flying Thunder God technique to teleport Naruto behind Obito. The Rasengan hit Obito squarely in the back. Because the 10 tails is a force that coexists with nature, Senjutsu, sage techniques, are effective against it. Though Obito quickly regenerated and strengthened his defenses, he was wary of further attacks and decided to summon the 10 tails to initiate the infinite Tsukuyomi prematurely. Additionally, Obito used the 6 Red Yang formation and began charging 4-tailed beast balls to annihilate the Ninja Alliance. Tobirama said he could only teleport 2 of them, while Minato stated that, without a mark, even 1 would be his limit. At this point, Naruto asked his father to bump fists. The 9 tails within both of them communicated, and Naruto distributed his chakra to everyone. Even Hashirama couldn't help but praise the vast amount of chakra, saying it rivaled his own. Thanks to Naruto's quick thinking, Minato was able to use the Flying Thunder God technique to teleport everyone to safety. With this, Naruto and Minato together charged up a massive Rasengan. Tobirama, not falling behind, grabbed each of them with one hand and teleported them behind Obito. This attack not only sent Obito flying, but also shattered his truth-seeking ball. Sensing the threat, Obito didn't linger and immediately began to activate the infinite Tsukuyomi. Enormous branches started to wildly absorb everyone's chakra. Madara told Hashirama about everything he had seen on the Uchiha stone tablet. Long ago, in a time without chakra, the god tree was worshipped as a deity. When the god tree bore fruit, Kaguya stole and ate it to reclaim its chakra. The god tree went berserk and transformed into the 10 tails. Madara believed there was no hope in this world, which is why he wanted to activate the infinite Tsukuyomi to save humanity. The branches that could regenerate infinitely and absorb chakra put Naruto in a dire situation. Fortunately, Hiruzen Sarutobi arrived just in time to save Naruto. After the god tree stopped extending its branches, it began to grow upwards, forming a gigantic bud. Once the flower blooms, its eye would reflect onto the moon, completing the infinite Tsukuyomi. As the god tree drained everyone's chakra, the battlefield turned into a living hell. Fear and despair gripped everyone. However, Hashirama noticed that despite the massive chakra absorption, the god tree showed no signs of blooming. It turned out that because the god tree lacked the complete chakra of the 8 tails and 9 tails, the blooming time was delayed by about 15 minutes. Madara declared that during this time, he would replace Obito. Using his clone, Hashirama connected everyone through the mind transmission technique with the help of the 9 tails chakra, informing them about the god tree. Just then, Sasuke, in his Susanoo form, yelled at Naruto, "Are you giving up already? I'm going in." Naruto clenched his teeth, and Minato passed the In Kurama's chakra to him. At that moment, Naruto's determination was conveyed to everyone through the mind transmission technique, with Jugo's cursed seal augmenting him. Sasuke's Susanoo could now utilize Senjutsu. The allied shinobi forces rallied their spirits and charged towards the god tree, under the cover of Naruto and Sasuke. Sensing the danger, Obito urgently transformed the god tree into attack mode. Naruto and Sasuke worked in tandem, equipping Susanoo's armor onto Kurama, creating a Senjutsu-powered version of armored Kurama. Obito then wielded the sword of Ninaboko, said to be the sword used by the Sage of 6 Paths to create the world. In that moment, Obito wavered. If he had chosen to return with Kakashi back then, perhaps he would have become the Hokage, though without Rin. This hesitation caused the sword to gradually shatter, and his body was cut down, causing the tailed beasts inside him to start pouring out. Naruto and Sasuke, shared their power with everyone, initiating an unprecedented tug-of-war with the tailed beast. In a radiant blue spiritual world, Obito saw himself standing alone, while Naruto was surrounded by countless friends. Obito once believed the world was fragmented and full of lies and deception, but seeing Naruto, who was almost a mirror image of himself, he glimpsed trust, peace, and hope. Naruto began to use his unique ability to persuade Obito. Obito was finally broken, and the tailed beasts were completely extracted, ending Obito's Jinchuriki form and causing him to fall to the ground. When a Jinchuriki loses their tailed beast, they usually die. As Kakashi emerged from the Kamui dimension and raised his kunai to strike Obito, Minato suddenly appeared to stop him. He apologized to Obito, saying it was his failure to protect them that led to the current situation. Meanwhile, Hashirama and Madara, both injured and exhausted, were locked in a stalemate. Though Hashirama used the Myojinmen to suppress Madara, he was pierced by Madara's black rods, just as Obito, having had a change of heart, prepared to use the Rinne Rebirth to revive all the fallen shinobi before his imminent death. Black Zetsu suddenly appeared and took control of Obito's body, changing the target of the Rinne Rebirth to revive Madara instead. Fully resurrected, Madara effortlessly shrugged off Sasuke's Amaterasu by simply removing his armor. Even the reanimated body of Hashirama was no match for Madara now. After breaking free from his Edo Tensei body, Madara lost the Rinnegan that had been tied to it. Yet, even in this state, he found himself without a worthy opponent. When he noticed Sasuke's Sharingan with its straight Tomo pattern, Madara showed a rare expression of admiration, and even invited Sasuke to join him. However, Sasuke rejected him outright. Madara, undeterred, moved forward with his plan. He needed to reclaim his Rinnegan and become the Ten-Tails Jinchuriki. His first objective, the Nine-Tailed Beast, even the combined power of Shikaku and Gaara's Desert Burial Seal couldn't hold him. Madara broke free with ease. Despite Naruto's arrival and strategic guidance, the tailed beasts only managed to tear off Madara's arm, which White Zetsu promptly replaced with a new one. Zetsu also delivered the other Rinnegan, which Obito had previously hidden. Madara, licking his wounds and staring at the blood seeping from his injuries, laughed maniacally, relishing the sensation of a true battle. With a mere gesture, he summoned the Geto statue from within Obito's body and leaped to its head. From there, he unleashed Limbo, Order Jail, a devastating technique that brought the nine-tailed beast crashing to the ground in an instant. Even Kurama and Yuki, sealed within Naruto and Killer Bee, couldn't escape their fates of being forcibly extracted. Meanwhile, Tobirama, Madara's old nemesis who had killed his brother Izuna, was pinned to the ground with black rods. Madara mocked him cruelly, remarking how even the cunning lightning-fast ninja had finally met his downfall. Not even Sasuke, who bore a striking resemblance to Izuna, could escape Madara's wrath. Beaten to the brink of death, Sasuke was left gasping for life. Naruto, too, was on the verge of death, as the allied shinobi forces struggled against Yamato, who was under White Zetsu's control, and wielding a weakened version of the true several thousand hands technique. Before Kurama was fully absorbed, he told Gaara the secret to saving Naruto: seek out Minato Namikaze and transfer the other half of Kurama's chakra into Naruto. This was the only way to keep him alive. By this time, Madara had become the Ten-Tails Jinchuriki, achieving a rebirth of unimaginable power. Even the Sage of Six Paths later remarked that Madara had, at this stage, come dangerously close to Kaguya's level of power, an awe-inspiring testament to the terror of his strength. Just as Minato was about to transfer the Nine-Tails chakra to Naruto, Black Zetsu intercepted, absorbing all the chakra and preparing to offer it, along with the Rinnegan, to Madara. Fortunately, Obito, relying on his indomitable will, managed to counter Black Zetsu. Pretending to surrender, he suddenly pierced Madara's body. Enraged, Madara reached out to grab Obito's eye, only to find his hand passing straight through Obito's body. Seizing the opportunity, Obito extracted some of the tailed beast's power from Madara and escaped to the Kamui dimension. Naruto was then transferred to the Kamui dimension for treatment as well. Meanwhile, Sasuke was also saved from the brink of death by Kabuto. This is the moment when Naruto and Sasuke inherit the Six Paths power. The bloodline theory turns a classic, righteous, and passionate shonen manga into a story focused on bloodline drama. Anyone not related to the Six Paths Sage is doomed to be a mere weakling. In the spiritual world, Naruto suddenly wakes up, thinking he's dead, and is immediately shocked. A serious voice then sounds, "What do you think death is? Your view of death is different from mine. How can you just casually say you're dead? Stay positive, young man." Confused, Naruto asks who the floating old man is. Behind the old man are 9 Rinnegan marks, and beneath his feet float 9 truth-seeking balls. He turns around and introduces himself as Hagoromo. Naruto, still slow to react, doesn't realize that the man before him is Hagoromo Otsutsuki, also known as the Sage of Six Paths. After a while, he finally notices the Rinnegan in Hagoromo's eyes. However, due to the vast time gap between them and the cultural differences, Naruto can't understand Hagoromo's long-winded speech. Unable to hold back any longer, he asks, "Are you an alien?" Hagoromo, surprised by the question, dismisses it, saying Naruto doesn't even understand what an alien is. However, Hagoromo is indeed half-alien, as his mother, Kaguya Otsutsuki, came from another world. The conversation quickly drifts further from the point, leaving Naruto confused. Finally, he returns to the main issue, and asks how he can leave. Hagoromo doesn't answer, saying only that he has long since died, leaving his chakra to wander through time. Hagoromo then introduces himself as the Sage of Six Paths, the founder of the ninja religion. Upon hearing Sage of Six Paths, Naruto immediately recognizes the old man, as both Nagato and Jiraiya had mentioned his name. He has many questions to ask, but Hagoromo picks up the Six Paths staff and taps it gently on the water in the spiritual world, revealing the reflection of his son, Ashura. Looking at the reflection, Naruto realizes that Hagoromo has something to entrust to him. Whether or not he can leave depends not on himself, but on whether someone on the outside can help him. Since he can't leave for now, he decides to listen to Hagoromo's story. Hagoromo tells the tale of his mother, Kaguya, and his two brothers, Indra and Ashura. Kaguya came from afar, picked the fruit of the god tree, ate it, gained immense power, and ruled the world, bringing peace. But the great power caused her to lose herself, and Kaguya was both revered and feared by the people. Soon after, Kaguya gave birth to Hagoromo and his brother, Hamura. When they grew up, the two fought the Ten Tails to redeem their mother. Hagoromo ultimately sealed the Ten Tails, which was transformed into the god tree, inside himself. Later, Hagoromo had two sons, the older brother Indra and the younger brother Ashura. Indra inherited his father's superior genes, and displayed extraordinary strength and talent from a young age, but he was arrogant and believed that power was everything. Ashura, though average in talent, overcame the odds with his effort and the help of others, eventually physically surpassing Indra and obtaining the power of love. Hagoromo saw a new possibility through Ashura. He divided the Ten Tails into nine-tailed beasts and scattered them across the land, giving them names. He believed that mutual help was the key to true power, and thus passed on the role of successor to Ashura. Indra was dissatisfied and fought Ashura in a battle of fate, causing their souls to reincarnate endlessly, living again and again. Now, Ashura has reincarnated as Naruto, while Indra's reincarnation is Sasuke. In Sasuke's spiritual space, he also sees Hagoromo and deduces Naruto's identity. Their previous incarnations were Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama. Madara fused their powers, drawing out Hagoromo's strength and awakening the Rinnegan. Hagoromo had anticipated the situation and left a stone tablet to guide future generations, though it ended in failure. As for the conflict between his two sons, Hagoromo chose to watch from the sidelines because the ninja way defines chakra as a power that connects individuals, not a tool for amplifying personal strength. Hagoromo's mother, Kaguya, lost herself to the power she gained and became a being feared by all. Now, Madara is the same, having not only acquired the power of the Ten Tails, but also the Six Paths power, and is subtly heading down the same path as Kaguya. To prevent history from repeating itself, Hagoromo asks Naruto and Sasuke to stop Madara. The tailed beast, Shikaku, Yuki, Kurama, appear and tell Naruto that the chakra of the tailed beasts has already been transferred into him. With the combined chakra of all nine-tailed beasts, Naruto now possesses the power of the Sage of Six Paths. Now, the moment of promise between the Sage of Six Paths and all the tail beasts has arrived. Naruto is the blue-eyed boy from the prophecy, the one who called out to the nine beasts by their names and played with them. The Toad Sage's prophecy was spot on. In Naruto's mental realm, Hagoromo gathered the nine-tailed beasts and called out their names. He declared that the time for the Child of Prophecy to change the world had come. Hagoromo then asked Naruto and Sasuke what they hoped to achieve at the end of this war. Naruto's answer was simple. He wanted to protect his comrades. Sasuke, however, had different plans. After hearing their answers, Hagoromo chose not to favor one over the other this time. In the past, his decision to entrust all his power to Ashura had led to Indra's resentment and tragedy. Learning from this mistake, Hagoromo split his power into two equal parts, giving one to Naruto and the other to Sasuke. The rest would be up to them to decide. Naruto and Sasuke each placed their dominant hand on Hagoromo's, receiving the power of the Six Paths. Their abilities soared to a new level. The Six Paths tier. One became an unbeatable powerhouse of raw strength, while the other turned into an unparalleled strategist. As soon as they revived, their first act was to rush into battle against Madara.